What is up, you guys? My name is Mia. Welcome to Mia is Anonymous, the podcast where we talk about feminism, girlhood, womanhood, and everything in between. Today we're talking about the book Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy and the disturbing and scary nature of it all. It's a very, very lovely book. It's a short read, but it packs a punch, and I would recommend it to a lot of people. And the reason why I would recommend it is, like I said before, it's a mild book. It's not what I expected. I expected more drama. I expected more heartache and pain than what I received. However, this story was still very important to share because it highlights the covert side of abuse. When we portray abuse in media, whether that be television, movies, books, it's always very violent. It's always in your face. It's always there. It's loud and it's scary and it's all encompassing. We tend to not focus as a society on the more subtle forms of abuse. This man is abusive. Mr. Corgi is abusive. He abuses his power and gets with his 17-year-old student. That is not okay. That is not okay. And in the book, because it's told by the perspective of Waldo, the 17-year-old student, in her mind, she's the one that started it. She's the one that seduced him. She's the one that put the effort in to get to know him. She's the one that put herself out there in order for him to know that she was interested. Except that's not how that works. Mr. Corgi is 40 years old. He has way more life experience than 17-year-old Waldo. And he knows that this girl is trying to come onto him. And so he's going to use that to his advantage. He's going to think that she's holding the cards, that she has the power, that she is the one that is going to seduce him and make the first move. Because it would be predatory if he did it. He would be at fault if he made the first move. So he was patient and he was silent and he let himself bite the hook as she reeled him in. But make no mistake, he was always the one holding the cards. And I'm seeing a lot of criticism about this idea how she had Waldo seduce him and then he fell victim to her seduction. Make no mistakes. He always knew. He needed to act helpless and defenseless because it makes him look less guilty that he's preying on a 17-year-old girl. So when he's there helpless, spoiler alert, I'm going to talk about a scene. She was at the winter formal and she can't get Mr. Corgi out of her mind, right? So she goes to his classroom. He's been gone for 2 weeks and she just misses him. She feels like it's her fault because she came on to him at a walk in the park earlier in the book. And she's there, she's sniffing his seat and he's there. And he's like, Waldo, what are you doing here? And she's just like, I need you, Mr. Corgi. I need you so much. He somehow, I forget how this happens, but he somehow finds himself on his seat and she starts dry humping him. And he's like, no, stop. Don't do that to me, please. She dry humps him until he ejaculates. And in that scene, it makes you think that Mr. Corgi is defenseless to her seduction, that she is just so sexy, she is just so desirable, that he could not help himself. That he had to be pinned down by a 17-year-old girl in the chair and dry humped until he ejaculated. This man is 40 years old. He's had ample amount of time to control his urges. He's had ample amount of time to learn discipline, sexual discipline. And he's a 40-year-old man. She's a 17-year-old girl. I know middle-aged men start to lose a bit of their strength, but he's still stronger than a 17-year-old girl. If he did not want her to do anything of sexual nature to him, he would have had the power and the strength still to push her off and tell her to stop. He is the man of authority here. He is the teacher. He is the adult. He has all the cards. There was no reason why he had to feel so helpless and defenseless while a 17-year-old girl dry humped him. But in the book, that's not the perspective that we get. We get the perspective of Waldo. So she thinks she has the power. She thinks that because she made the first move, quote unquote, that she has the power. This is what she wanted. So it's not that bad. But I need to reiterate. He knew all along. He knew all along what the plan was. But he couldn't enact it. He couldn't make the first move. He had to have her make the first move. Because he needed to act innocent. Because she gave him his number, which he didn't have to text, but he texted anyways. He went on a walk with her after she asked to go on a walk. So it gives you this like little idea, oh, she's making the first move. She really wants this. No, he knew all along. I need to reiterate it. He knew all along. And it's a covert sign of abuse because this man is not in-your-face abusive. He is not violent towards her. He's not screaming or cursing at her. He plays innocent the whole time. He's very manipulative. He's very coercive, but he's so calm and gentle when he's performing his manipulation tactics that it would go over your head if you're not privy to this kind of emotional abuse. If you are not educated on this kind of abuse, it will go over your head. You will think nothing of it. And I know that because I was once in that situation where it didn't seem like abuse. He wasn't hitting me. He wasn't yelling at me. He wasn't name calling me or cursing at me. But it was abuse because he's manipulating you into thinking or doing things that you don't necessarily want to do, but he guilt trips you. He makes you question yourself. He makes you insecure about yourself. And that is abuse. If he's making you feel bad, even if it's not in your face, even if it's subtle, if he's making you feel bad, he's making you feel bad. And there's a lot of times where they're pursuing this relationship, this really inappropriate relationship, and he's telling her, I have a wife and I have a kid, like, I can't make all this time for you. So there's this poor 17-year-old girl that's lovesick over her 40-year-old English teacher, and she's waiting for the next time he calls. She's dropping everything just to go see him, and he gets to go out there and live his married life with his wife and child. And you just get grossed out. You just get grossed out because that's another thing is that, like, without the whole I'm dating my 17-year-old student detail, you do feel bad for Mr. Corgi because he made decisions in his life that held him back. He got married out of obligation. He had a child out of obligation. He felt like he had to stifle his dreams out of obligation. Like, without the I'm dating my 17-year-old student part, you do feel bad for Mr. Corgi because it is a life not fully lived. It is a life that is a bunch of choices that were not truly the ones that he wanted to make. Like, he wanted to be an author, not an English teacher. He did not want to marry his wife, but he felt like he needed to because they already spent so many years together. He didn't want to have a child, but she was so upset and distraught that she didn't have one yet. So it's all of these things, that all of these choices that he made that he didn't necessarily want, but he never said no to. And you do feel bad for Mr. Corgi because that is a very frustrating situation when you're in the moment and you do things out of obligation, and then hindsight becomes 20/20, and then you realize this is not what you wanted, and I'm 40 years old, I'm middle-aged, and, you know, it's not like the world is my oyster anymore. I'm not that young where I have all these options, and I also have responsibilities. I have a wife and child. I can't just do things for myself anymore. The world is not as open as it used to be for me. You do feel bad for Mr. Corgi, but the way you handle your midlife crisis is not by dating your students. And I think that's, like, another thing is that he's painted out to be a victim. Like, this is, like, somebody that you feel bad for. On, like, any given moment, you do feel bad for a person like that. Like, it's a stressful situation. Anybody could feel empathetic towards that. But he uses that victim mentality as a way to still manipulate Waldo. He wants her to feel bad for him, and it's that manipulation tactic where he makes himself seem like he's defenseless and powerless, but he actually is not. He is the one stringing her along. he is the one making her feel sick. He is the one abusing her. But it's because he has a very, very creative way of painting himself out to be powerless, the victim, victim of circumstance, I should say. There's absolutely no way that he's hurting or abusing Waldo. It's manipulative. It's manipulative, and it's so covert. It's so subtle that if you aren't privy to it, you would think he is just a very flawed human being. A very flawed human being that is in a crisis and that needs help. But that's not what that book is trying to portray. They're trying to portray a very manipulative man who likes to use this aura of being a victim to his advantage, because you feel sorry for him, you feel pity for him, but it also makes him seem like he's not a threat. It makes you less quick to call him out for his bad behavior, because you think he's doing it because he has no other choice. So when he's sitting there letting his 17-year-old student dry hump him, or when he's telling her, I can't leave my wife or kids, I can't do this, I never knew real love until I met you, you think, okay, what a piece of shit. Okay? This was a really good book. This was a book I liked. I like short, concise books too. I like books that get to the point. It's funny because I'm not actually, like, I write myself because I like to write. I like to read. I love words and literature and stuff like that. I write myself, but I'm so detailed in my writing. Like, I need to get every detail down, and I'm so long. And I like to draw out I like to be very detailed in my writing. But in my reading, I love, like, a, like, quick and concise book. Which is just, like, really funny how, like, it could be so different. I enjoyed this novel. It's the first one that I read from Jeanette McCurdy. I did not read her memoir. But I hope that she continues writing, because I liked the book, and I resonated deeply with Waldo and the things that she was going through, not just with Mr. Corgi, but with her mother. So I really appreciate this book, and I hope you take the time to read it, and I hope that this podcast allows you to see Mr. Corgi in a different light, and I hope this podcast enlighten you to see how covert and subtle abuse can be, and how it's not always in your face or violent or loud. I hope it makes you realize things. And I'll see you again soon.